Bible in a Year, the Message Version, April 7, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 1 through chapter 32, verse 27. Moses went on and addressed these words to all Israel. He said, I'm 120 years old today. I can't get about as I used to, and God told me, You're not going to cross this Jordan River. God your God will cross the river ahead of you and destroy the nations in your path so that you may oust them. And Joshua will cross the river before you, as God said he would. God will give the nations the same treatment he gave the kings of the Amorites, Sihon and Og, and their land. He'll destroy them. God will hand the nations over to you, and you'll treat them exactly as I have commanded you. Be strong, take courage, don't be intimidated. Don't give them a second thought because God, your God, is striding ahead of you. He's right there with you. He won't let you down. He won't leave you. Then Moses summoned Joshua. He said to him, with all Israel watching, Be strong, take courage. You will enter the land with this people, this land that God promised their ancestors that He'd give them. You will make them the proud possessors of it. God is striding ahead of you. He's right there with you. He won't let you down. He won't leave you. Don't be intimidated. Don't worry. Moses read out this revelation and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who carried the chest of the covenant of God, and to all the leaders of Israel. And he gave these orders. At the end of every 7 years, the year all debts are canceled. During the pilgrim feast of booths, when everyone in Israel comes to appear in the presence of God your God, at the place he designates, read out this revelation to all Israel, with everyone listening. Gather the people together, men, women, children, and the foreigners living among you, so they can listen well, so they may learn to live in holy awe before God, your God, and diligently keep everything in this revelation. And do this so that their children, who don't yet know all this, will also listen and learn to live in holy awe before God, your God, for as long as you live on the land that you are crossing over the Jordan to possess. God spoke to Moses, You are about to die, so call Joshua, meet me in the tent of meeting, so that I can commission him. So Moses and Joshua went and stationed themselves in the tent of meeting. God appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud. The cloud was near the entrance of the tent of meeting. God spoke to Moses, You're about to die and be buried with your ancestors. You'll no sooner be in the grave than this people will be up and lusting after the foreign gods of this country that they are entering. They will abandon me and violate my covenant that I've made with them. I'll get angry, oh, so angry. I'll walk off, leave them on their own, won't so much as look back at them. Then many calamities and disasters will devastate them because they are defenseless. They'll say, Isn't it because our God wasn't here that all this evil has come upon us? But I'll stay out of their lives. Keep looking the other way because of all their evil they took up with other gods. But for right now, copy down this song and teach the people of Israel to sing it by heart. They'll have it then as my witness against them. When I bring them into the land that I promised to their ancestors, a land flowing with milk and honey, and they eat and become full and get fat and then begin fooling around with other gods and worshiping them, and then things start falling apart, many terrible things happening. This song will be there with them as a witness to who they are and what went wrong. Their children won't forget this song. They'll sing it. Don't think I don't know what they already are scheming to do, and they're not even in the land yet, this land I promised them." So Moses wrote down the song that very day and taught it to the people of Israel. Then God commanded Joshua, son of Nun, saying, "Be strong, take courage. You will lead the people of Israel into the land I promised to give them, and I'll be right there with you." After Moses had finished writing down the words of the revelation in the book, right down to the last word, he ordered the Levites, who were responsible for carrying the chest of the covenant of God, saying, "Take this book of Revelation and place it alongside the chest of the covenant of God, your God. Keep it there as a witness. I know what rebels you are, how stubborn and willful you can be. Even today, while I'm still alive and present with you, you're rebellious against God. How much worse when I've died? So gather the leaders of the tribes and the officials here. I have something I need to say directly to them with heaven and earth as witnesses. I know that after I die, you're going to make a mess of things, abandoning the way I commanded, inviting all kinds of evil consequences in the days ahead. You're determined to do evil in defiance of God. I know you are, deliberately provoking his anger by what you do. So, with everyone in Israel gathered and listening, Moses taught the words of the song from start to finish. Listen, heavens, I have something to tell you. Attention, earth, I've got a mouth full of words. My teaching, let it fall like a gentle rain. My words arrive like morning dew, like a sprinkling rain on new grass that spring showers on the garden. For it's God's name I'm preaching. Respond to the greatness of God, the rock. His works are perfect, and the way he works is fair and just. A God you can depend on, no exceptions, a straight arrow God. His messed up, mixed up children, his non children, throw mud at him, but none of it sticks. Don't you realize it is God you are treating like this? This is crazy. Don't you have any sense of reverence? Isn't this your Father who created you, who made you, and gave you a place on earth? Read up on what happened before you were born. Dig into the past. Understand your roots. Ask your parents what it was like before you were born. Ask the old ones. They'll tell you a thing or two. When the high God gave the nations their stake, gave them their place on earth, he put each of the peoples within boundaries under the care of divine guardians. But God himself took charge of his people, took Jacob on as his personal concern. He found him out in the wilderness in an empty, wind-swept wasteland. He threw his arms around him, lavished attention on him, guarding him as the apple of his eye. He was like an eagle hovering over its nest, overshadowing its young, then spreading its wings, lifting them into the air, teaching them to fly. God alone led him. There was not a foreign god in sight. God lifted him unto the hilltops, so he could feast on the crops in the fields. He fed him honey from the rock, oil from granite crags, curds of cattle, and the milk of sheep, the choice cuts of lamb and goats, fine Bashan rams, high quality wheat, and the blood of grapes. You drank good wine. Jeshurun put on weight and buckled. You got fat, became obese, a tub of lard. He abandoned the God who made him. He mocked the rock of his salvation. They made him jealous with their foreign, trendy gods, and with obscenities they vexed him no end. They sacrificed to no god demons, gods they knew nothing about, the latest in gods, fresh from the market. Gods your ancestors would never call gods. You walked out on the rock who gave you life, forgot the birth God who brought you into the world. God saw it and spun around, angered and hurt by his sons and daughters. He said, "From now on, I'm looking the other way. Wait and see what happens to them. Oh, they're a turned around, upside down generation. Who knows what they'll do from one moment to the next? They goaded me with their no gods, infuriated me with their hot air gods. I'm going to goad them with a no people, with a hollow nation, incense them. My anger started a fire, a wild fire burning deep down in Shiloh. They shooting up and devouring the earth and its crops, setting all the mountains from bottom to top on fire. I'll pile catastrophes on them. I'll shoot my arrows at them. Starvation, blistering heat, killing disease. I'll send snarling wild animals to attack from the forest and venomous creatures to strike from the dust. Killing in the streets, terror in the houses, young men and virgins alike struck down, and yes, breastfeeding babies and gray haired old men. I could have said, I'll hack them to pieces, wipe out all trace of them from the earth, except that I feared the enemy would grab the chance to take credit for it all. Crowing, "Look at what we did! God had nothing to do with this." Luke chapter 12, verse 8 through verse 34. Stand up for me among the people you meet, and the Son of Man will stand up for you before all God's angels. But if you pretend you don't know me, do you think I'll defend you before God's angels? If you badmouth the Son of Man out of misunderstanding or ignorance, that can be overlooked. But if you're knowingly attacking God Himself, taking aim at the Holy Spirit, that won't be overlooked. When they drag you into their meeting places or into police courts and before judges, don't worry about defending yourselves. What you'll say or how you'll say it, the right words will be there. The Holy Spirit will give you the right words when the time comes. Someone out of the crowd said, "Teacher, order my brother to give me a fair share of the family inheritance." He replied, "Mister, what makes you think it's any of my business to be a judge or a mediator for you?" Speaking to the people, he went on. Take care. Protect yourself against the least bit of greed. Life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot. Then he told them this story. The farm of a certain rich man produced terrific crop. He talked to himself, "What can I do? My barn isn't big enough for this harvest." Then he said, "Here's what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll gather in all my grain and goods, and I'll say to myself, 'Self, you've done well. You've got it made and can now retire. Take it easy and have the time of your life.'" Just then, God showed up and said, "Fool, tonight you die, and your barn full of goods, who gets it?" That's what happens when you fill your barn with self and not with God. He continued this subject with his disciples. Don't fuss about what's on the table at mealtimes, or if your clothes are in the right fashion. There's far more to your inner life than the food you put in your stomach, more to your outer appearance than the clothes you hang on your body. Look at the ravens, free and unfettered, not tied down to a job description, carefree in the care of God, and you count far more. Has anyone, by fussing before the mirror, ever gotten taller by so much as an inch? If fussing can't even do that, why fuss at all? Walk into the fields and look at the wildflowers. They don't fuss with their appearance. But have you ever seen color and design quite like it? The 10 best dressed men and women in the country look shabby alongside them. If God gives such attention to the wildflowers, most of them never even seen, don't you think He'll attend to you, take pride in you, do His best for you? What I'm trying to do here is get you to relax, not be so preoccupied with getting, so that you can respond to God's giving. People who don't know God and the way He works fuss over these things, but you know both God and how He works. Steep yourself in God reality, God initiative, God provisions. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met. Don't be afraid of missing out. You're my dearest friends. The Father wants to give you the very kingdom itself. Be generous. Give to the poor. Get yourselves a bank that can't go bankrupt. A bank in heaven far from bank robbers, safe from embezzlers. A bank you can bank on. It's obvious, isn't it? The place where your treasure is the place you will most want to be and end up being. Psalm chapter 78, verse 32 through verse 55. And can you believe it? They kept right on sinning. All those wonders, and they still wouldn't believe. So their lives wasted away to nothing. Nothing to show for their lives but a ghost town. When He cut them down, they came running for help. They turned and pled for mercy. They gave witness that God was their rock, that high God was their Redeemer. But they didn't mean a word of it. They lied through their teeth with the whole time. They could not have cared less about Him, wanted nothing to do with His covenant. And God, compassionate, forgave the sin, didn't destroy. Over and over, He reigned in His anger, restrained His considerable wrath. He knew what they were made of. He knew there wasn't much to them. How often in the desert they had spurned Him, tried His patience in those wilderness years. Time and again, they pushed Him to the limit, provoked Israel's holy God. How quickly they forgot what He'd done, forgot their day of rescue from the enemy. When He did miracles in Egypt, wonders on the plain of Zoran, He turned the river and its streams to blood, not a drop of water fit to drink. He sent flies, which ate them alive, and frogs, which drove them crazy. He turned their harvest over to caterpillars, everything they had worked for to locusts. He flattened their grapevines with hail. A killing frost ruined their orchards. He pounded their cattle with hail, let thunderbolts loose on their herds. His anger flared, a wild firestorm of havoc. in advance guard of disease-carrying angels to clear the ground, preparing the way before him. He didn't spare those people. He let the plague rage through their lives. He killed all the Egyptian firstborns, lusty infants, offspring of Ham's virility. Then he led his people out like sheep, took his flock safely through the wilderness. He took care of them, and they had nothing to fear. The sea took care of their enemies for good. He brought them into this holy land, this mountain he claimed for his own. He scattered everyone who got in their way. He staked out an inheritance for them. The tribes of Israel all had their own places. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 21 through verse 23. No evil can overwhelm a good person, but the wicked have their hands full of it. God can't stomach liars. He loves the company of those who keep their word. Prudent people don't flaunt their knowledge. Talkative fools broadcast their silliness. This was a daily reading, the Message version of the Bible, read to you by Bible in a Year.